Odysseyers, Mike Martin's here with the Mike Martin channel. Thanks for joining me, being part of the channel, and subscribing and sharing. Okay, what are we talking about? Well, there's an article that's swinging around. Vancouver's gone to the dogs. Well, coyotes actually, and it's a classic case of too much government. There it is, right there for you guys to see. Now, this is a follow-up video to my leave Vancouver now. I'm leaving. I'm done from 5-6 years ago. Left Vancouver. A lot of people have been watching my channel since then and before then. We're discussing housing, discussing the Commonwealth, and I get out of Sydney videos. Get out of Sydney. Get out of Toronto. Get out because cost of living is just unaffordable. So I'm going to be on the Toronto housing show this Sunday morning at like 6 o'clock my time. So I'm going to have to wake up super early to do an update with them and what I think is happening in the housing market. So check that out. Okay, so Vancouver's gone to the dogs. I read this article. Basically, it's talking about pollution from the public sector and exporting steel and all that stuff. And the problem is, if it was the private sector doing it, basically what this article is saying is that you wouldn't have, people would be sued for contaminants and stuff going into their lungs. Well, who's at fault at this? Is it really the Canadians? No, it's the government in corporation working hard with China, keeping the Chinese demand up. Canada, for people that don't know, is now an autonomous region of China. They own a good portion of our properties, our private homes. They own a good portion of our commercial districts and commercial properties. They own lots of our assets. They own a lot of stuff, parts of our water supply, and apparently there's some sort of rumored to buy electricity companies like they've been doing in Jamaica. The Chinese have been doing that in Jamaica too. So what's happened? What's transpired? Why is Vancouver gone to the dogs? Well, Vancouver's turned into an empty shell, right? It's been filled with enormous amount of speculators. It started in 2010 after the 2010 Olympics, and it's became a major issue. Now, if you look at the city of Vancouver, what's south of it? Washington State, also another liberal state. You go further south, you go to Oregon, another liberal state, and you go further south, you have California, where all these cities, people have been leaving and exodusing before COVID. I love when they say COVID is pushing families out of the cities. Yeah. No, it's been happening way before. 2017 was the year of the bail-ins. 2018 was the year of the repo markets. 2019 was the year of the protest. 2020 was the year of the lockdown. And 2021 was the year of the blood clot. And 2021 will be the year of the protest again. And it's just going to go full circle. And there's nothing nobody could do about it, right? So there's nothing, it's just the way it works in cycles. All they had to do was raise interest rates in 2014 and again in 2017, and all the bad debt would have defaulted and fallen off, and we wouldn't be in this predicament we are right now. Why are we in this predicament? Well, we sold out to the Chinese communists. I hate communism. My dad fought communism right to the end, till his death. All right, there's my dad right there. And my dad right there in Portuguese Africa. Portuguese Africa was being taken over by the Cubans. Cubans invaded Portuguese Africa, funded by the Russians, to make countries with infrastructure. Portuguese Africa's got lots of infrastructure. Communist. They wanted to seize those capitals because they wanted control and dominance in Africa. So my dad fought communism right to the end. Anyways, so what is happening? Well, I left Vancouver. Top 10 reasons why I left Vancouver. One of the first, not the first, but I guess the 1000th video I posted on my channel discussing the reasons why I left the big city and why, and I made a follow-up video a few years later, 5 reasons to leave Canada, and then 5 reasons why I left Toronto. These big cities are no longer what they used to be. Right? You would live in the big city, make a couple of bucks, punch out a few kids, retire, send your kids to school, and then move out to the suburbs and live a quiet life. But those days are gone. All they had to do was use the one tool in their arsenal that a lot of these financial gurus and all these banks refuse to use, was raise interest rates. Yeah, Vancouver's gone to the dogs, coyotes, and bears, apparently, according to this article. And it's very scary. It's very scary where things have headed, and it's very scary how the middle class is getting wiped out, and it's very scary how the middle class is being killed off. If you could read between the lines, you know what I'm saying. So this has become an ongoing problem. It's been an ongoing issue. It's been an ongoing, and if people don't think that the sickness that's going around is not, people think that it's not tied to this financial crisis we were in for the last, from 2010 to 2019. They don't think it has nothing to do with it, and that's the problem. It all ties in to the serum. It all ties in, and I guess it's one last hurrah to see what we can make off of these companies, injection companies, and see what we could make and how much we could make and how much we could take the citizens for, or how much we could bankrupt the middle class. Property taxes skyrocketing everywhere, and landlords, private owners, private sector, not the public, losing their properties. And guess what? You think it's going to be a classic reset like back in the 80s and the 90s? Where people that have been saving money could rush into the markets? No, it's not going to be a classic reset. Not even close. You got Blackstone, BlackRock, all kinds of private entities that are going around ready and willing with printed money that they don't have to buy your defaulted properties. So hope you didn't throw too much renovations in them, because when they do default, and now Bank of Montreal is insisting that they're going to start raising interest rate to taper off the housing market. Are you out of your tree? Everyone's heading to the border. People are heading to the southern United States, conservative states, and I just spoke to another friend who just randomly moved to Florida. It's like, Mike, I moved to Florida. I'm done with this whole liberal BS stuff. I want to, raise my kids in peace, right? So that's what's happening, guys. I kind of wanted to share that with you guys. Vancouver to the dogs. Or Vancouver, gone to the dogs. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Look forward to reading them. Big cities, empty shells. Do the math. Do the equations. Okay, heck, you know what? I'll be nice to you guys. Start at 2015 and start to see what was happening economically. Start to see what was happening in 2015. How things weren't looking good on a financial aspect. But you would think that the next quarter we'll see a correction, and the next quarter we'll see a correction, and the next quarter we'll see a correction. We never did. And that's why we're in the problem. And that's why 2 weeks to flatten the curve, 6 months, 2 years later, and it's going to keep going. And they're going to keep playing this game just like they played the financial system on us all these years. The average Joe Donuts has no idea what's happening because he believes that the banks were on his side. The banks were doing his job for him. The banks were making his money work for him. Well, Joe Donuts, they weren't. Unfortunately, all the laws or stuff that was implemented, like the Glass-Steagall Act and all the other stuff that was put into place to protect the citizen, has been removed. So that is a major, major issue, and that is a major economic problem that we are having, right? So it won't be fixed until we raise it. Once they raise interest rates to a significant point and governments step in and stop big corporations from buying up our private housing and private commercial sector, then maybe we may have a chance. But if governments don't step in and protect us, why would they protect us? They let in more money laundering, hundreds of millions infractions of money laundering. But if I'm money laundered, it's not forming an opinion. I go to jail. They money launder, it's forming an opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Look forward to reading what you guys have to say. Calculate it. It's been happening. Do the math. Go from 2015, follow the money, and you shall see. God bless. Mike Martin's here at the Merit Toys and Games. Buy something from my store, mtg.toys. Buy a board game. Play board games with the family. I have spoken.